episode is it? Oh wait, where are the national days? Wait, what's about first?
Wait.
Wait.
This is episode 31, everyone. Happy birthday if it's your birthday. And
All right, I'm just gonna make it long so you have time to pull up the national days.
yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
And
Pull up the
hello,
national days.
everybody. Welcome back to
That was powerful.
episode 31 of the Art of Awesomeness podcast. My name is Christian Caito. I'm your host, Christian Caito, alongside, joined also by your co-host, Adrian Kiswani, who's right here.
Hi.
Good job, Adrian Kiswani.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This is our episode of episode 31 of season 2. Thank you guys for watching Sunday. And
We do have the first order of business, which is Happy National Lost Sock Memorial Day, National Moscato Day.
Moscato, is that a drink? I think that's like an alcoholic drink.
Yeah,
Moscato.
It has to do with grapes and stuff.
Moscato.
National Butterscotch Brownie Day,
Ooh, get some banana.
National Sleepover Day, and of course it is May 9th, so Happy Mother's Day.
Oh yes,
all the mothers
forgot
out
about
there.
that. No wait, sorry. No, I didn't. Love you. Sorry, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I forgot. No, I did not. Anyway,
Yes.
Thank you guys for tuning in. This is a very special episode because we are doing another interview spotlight episode. This one is on Lucas Martin, a friend of ours since high school, a little bit longer than Tucker. It's been the same time around Nick.
I'd say around there, yeah.
Around Nick when we met Nick in freshman year. So a friend of ours since freshman year in high school, and he's a really all-around cool guy. We get to know a bit more about him and his story of how we met and how his kind of philosophy on a few different things growing up in high school. And we talk about a few other things that aren't school related. So
I think we had a really good
out.
conversation with him. He was
We
was
did.
like really down to do the podcast, and I think he really enjoyed
And he wants to do it again.
was a
Yeah,
good
so
time,
Lucas, thanks for joining the podcast, and we'll have a few remarks afterwards. But this is the episode. This is the interview, and enjoy it. We'll see you guys later. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Art of Awesomeness podcast. This is I already said all that stuff.
No.
This is Lucas Martin.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Is it recording?
Is it recording? Yes.
This is Lucas Martin.
We
Lucas,
Hello.
say hi to the audience.
Hi, I'm Lucas Martin. I'm a bit of a celebrity around these parts.
Yes.
Christian is my biggest fan. He's the only one that knows about me being a celebrity. It's kind of like my Hannah Montana sort of shtick. Yeah, and I just
You're like Hannah
expose
Montana
myself
if you were both.
at the same time.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
If I had a
So if you're
split
a
personality disorder.
Yeah, like
So-
Two-Face.
So
Batman.
how often are you Hannah Montana then?
So I'm like the
out of the week?
two-faced
Yeah.
circus
How often
person.
are you Hannah Montana?
Whenever I need money, to be honest.
Hey, you know
That's
what?
a good answer.
And that is
That's
often because I'm addicted to buying Legos and eating them.
That's good.
But there's an
Well-
important distinction to make. What kind of Legos?
Yeah.
Are we talking Lego
Mega
Star Wars,
Bloks?
Lego Ninjago? I mean, are we talking
When I was
Bionicle?
young, I did get into Mega Bloks Halo, and then I developed a taste for the finer things.
Oh,
I did get into Bionicles back when I was still referred to as
They were talking about
Bionicles.
you eating these, correct?
Yes, and
Yeah.
then
just want to make sure we're on the right path.
it rebranded into Hero Factory, and that's when I jumped
Yeah,
overboard
yeah,
and said
one.
no, sir. So I've just been helping myself to the Lego Star Wars,
That's good.
Legends
Yeah.
of Chima,
A lot of
If you
protein in
remember
that
that
one,
one. Got it,
too.
yeah.
the lion
A
thing.
lot of soy.
You're really getting on
It
that May the
hurts.
4th thing.
It
you know?
hurts so bad, but I gotta
Hey, gotta make sacrifices
yeah.
for the things you love, man.
Here's the thing: with all this plastic waste in the world, I'm doing the
You're right.
planet
Yeah,
Earth
you're
a
eating
service.
it. You're eating
You're
it.
right.
Yeah.
So that's that's amazing.
My
So if you need
doctors
compost, you know.
freaked out. My doctor saw the X-ray. He was not happy with me. But
Well, you don't need a doctor to tell you what you already know.
yeah. What do they know actually?
You
Yeah, dude. About
Are
Legos, you're the
real
Lego
one.
eating master, man.
come on, man.
I'm the master of
Eat
my
a
body.
Lego.
They try to tell me I can't eat Legos and hair that I find.
Yeah.
What do I know?
This is one of the best openings
Uh.
we've ever had.
I try to start it strong.
We should do what we did last time. I think we already did an intro.
Yeah, we did.
Lucas, but for the audience, tell them a bit about who you are.
All right, so I am someone that came to Mountain House. Okay, well, my name's Lucas Martin.
Yeah, start from the beginning.
yeah, I was born in Sacramento.
There we go.
A
Boom.
very
There we go.
distant land. I moved around a little bit before settling in like Newark, California for a while.
Legit.
And after saying like, all right, this place is expensive to live in, we moved. Well, we thought about moving to Brentwood at first. And I remember in my middle school years when I was still in like the apartment with my family, I looked up on like Google Maps and I had like put the little guy on so I could like explore
The yellow man.
streets.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like high school is going to be so cool. I'm going to go to Brentwood. I'm going to learn how to skate. I'm not going to care about school. I'm going to get a girlfriend. Like this is going to be awesome.
That's
Perfect.
Brentwood.
And then they're like, all right, we're going to Mountain House. And I was like,
Mountain
okay,
House.
like I'm sure it's still like a pretty awesome suburban place. And I
Nope.
came here and I did
Built
not live
one
up
village.
at all to any of my expectations.
Yeah.
You moved here which grade?
Freshman year.
Okay, freshman
So,
year. Yeah, we
yeah.
met freshman year.
Yeah, and then I came here in August. There was still like a good week or so before I like actually attended the school.
Mhm.
So I was just like sleeping around like most of the time. And then my first day, I'd already sort of like talked to the counselors beforehand. Went in, got my little Chromebook from the IT office back
Yeah.
when I was still in the A building.
Oh.
And then, first
forgot.
period.
Before the learning commons.
Yeah, first
Yeah.
period I went to the first period gym class.
Correct.
That's
You
a win.
two boys were in, and Nick was in, and Maggie, and Sierra, and Lauren. All these people
All the peeps.
that I like.
What? Hang on, because I think the first time we really like we're friends was on the bench, right?
Yeah.
That bench.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait. Before this, did you guys meet before I met Lucas?
I had sort of met you
Yeah.
by extension.
Okay.
That's how most people know me.
Okay.
So sorry. So sorry. I think we had
Okay.
other
Yeah.
classes though. I can't quite remember.
Okay.
No, we
Um,
definitely did. I kind of block all that out of my
Yeah.
head now.
Nah. Honestly,
Okay.
it's a blur.
So bench.
Yeah, the bench.
Bench.
So
The bench.
after like
Check.
being in Mountain House for a while, I was kind of like a little mopey and like also at the same time like very anxious. I was like, man, like I don't know, like I don't know anyone here. Like I can still hang out with people, but I don't know if this is like where I belong. And I was sort of like in that mood for a while. I still enjoyed people. It's just that I couldn't be around anyone. And then one fateful day,
I'm quoting that.
yeah, one fateful day, I was just sort of sitting on the bench, just like bored, going through my phone, scrolling social media. And Christian, were you with Azariah?
I was just about to ask if I feel like I was with someone.
Yeah,
I don't think I was by
think-
myself.
I think you were with Azariah.
Christian was tight with Azariah for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't.
You were with someone, and like
yeah, I think maybe
you
that's
had sort of like, you had like, because you know it was still like, it wasn't like August. It was maybe like a month or two after that, but the sun was still like very bright all the time. So like you looked, you covered the sun, and you're like, Lucas, and then like you would just sort of like tell me like, come on man, let's hang out. I was like, I mean, all right, like.
You were wearing your striped blue shirt. I remember you're
Yeah, you've got the memory of like what I was wearing, and I was like, I mean, all right, and like we were just walking around, and I was like, you took me to all sorts of places. You transcended like this sort of social like caste system.
Where did I take you?
No,
The cafeteria?
You took
Yeah, there weren't many buildings
we
back
went to
then.
Las
Yeah, there was-
Vegas,
yeah.
and we went to
Saw Jesus.
that was
so-
cool. I didn't know you could make him appear in your hand like
Oh,
that.
yeah. Yeah, a building.
But you know, I think what I remember, I don't remember how that exactly went, but I remember like there were just points where like you and me would hang out and we would walk around. I remember I got introduced to Lauren Johnson by you.
Johnson.
I'm
sorry, I'm gonna move this hair. It's gonna.
It's all good.
Sorry. Okay. Johnson from. Yeah, okay, Johnson from PE, or just because I was friends with her.
It was just friends with her. It
Okay.
was like during
Okay.
lunchtime.
Mhm.
I remember she was like, "Hey, can you hold this for me?" Like she was doing this. I was like, "Oh, okay." And then she tried to just, like split my
yeah.
fingers, and
Oh,
you were like, "No!" Like you broke it up. I was
My
like,
boyfriend now.
pretty much. I was like, "All right, well, I guess I know who I belong to."
Oh, this is where it's going now.
Yeah.
Sweet. Wow, I had no idea that I made that much of an influence.
No, Christian. Honestly, like, I don't know. I just felt like really alone at the time, so I was like, "Man, I don't know about this." But then you just sort of like, you showed me like around, and like you introduced me to people. You really like flipped my perspective, you're kind of like a magician in that regard. Yeah, you didn't like.
He does know a few card tricks.
I
Yeah.
do. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, you stole my credit card. That's quite the card trick question.
So what about the first time that what was the first best memory of you and Adrian?
First best memory.
First, that
Damn.
you remembered that Adrian, that was just, at least he was in it, where you just remember it being like, that's a great memory.
Even if I was like in the background, just like sleeping.
Or more
something.
preferably just the two of you.
The
Yeah.
concert. When we were all taking the photos, we were all just hanging out.
Yeah.
And, like,
Oh,
concert,
Sierra
Lauren was there.
Maggie. Lauren.
Yeah, and like just taking the photos. I remember looking at it. I'm like, all right, like I had already really enjoyed my time at Mountain House before then, but that was like the first sort of moment where I was like, all right, like this place is actually like pretty awesome. I think I could definitely spend, all 4 years here and still be pretty happy about it.
Mhm.
And I was honestly like high school. I really enjoyed high school. I mean, I have a tendency to sort of be like I mope around, I'm like, oh man, like I could have done this differently. I remember in freshman year, before I hung out with you, there was this one occasion I got introduced to like a girl, and she seemed, kind of cool. And I remember she had asked me, I felt like she was kind of my type, to be honest. And like an alt girl kind of go off. I was like, okay, cool. And like, she had asked me, she's like, do you want to go to like this Halloween dance with me?
Dang.
And
At Mountain House?
yeah, there was like some Halloween thing.
Oh, I didn't know there
I
was a
didn't
Halloween
even hear
There
dance.
was
about
like a
that.
Halloween formal.
Wow, see, you're cooler
experience.
than us. I
Yeah,
didn't know there was a
you
Halloween
know
dance.
the inside joke.
Yeah, this is how the story ends. I was like, no, thanks. Like dances aren't my thing. I was always a very nervous and like,
Yeah.
and
So you're just
like
like trying to
socially
shut
inept
that
person.
down.
Yeah, like I even if I did want to go, I was just like, oh no, like dances aren't my thing, and that was it. And then I remember telling that story to my aunt, and she was like, Lucas,
You
like
dummy.
the amount of courage this girl had to work up, and I was like, that's when it really hit me. I was like, oh
Yeah, you're
man.
thinking about her side of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that just started like a long line of like, oh man, like what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And then there was also like, I don't know, there was just a bunch of occasions where I didn't like take an opportunity I had, and I kind of beat myself up about it. But like,
That's nice.
I don't know, like just today, because I was rewatching the one that you did with Nick. I was like, all right, I gotta think of like stuff to talk about.
Bro,
Well,
don't worry about
I'm not like, yeah, I'm not freaking out about it, but at the same time, it's like, I want this to be my magnum opus. After this,
Dang.
no more podcasts.
Holy.
This is only going to be the masterpiece.
Gosh. Wow.
Um,
Lucas.
That's what I'm titling this.
yeah.
Lucas's
Magnum
magnum
opus.
Magnum opus.
Our magnum opus.
But yeah, no, like it started a trend of like things where I was like, maybe I'm not smart or stuff like that. It's just sort of like a common theme with me, to be quite honest. Like where there are things that indicate that like I'm not exactly what I say I am when I have like low self-esteem. It's like maybe I am like I was telling you about it. My friend Angel was like, Lucas, you're a stud. And then in the back of my mind, I'm like, you lost your mind. you do not know what you're talking about.
So,
like
so
trying
the
to gas
compliments
me
for
up.
you are just a bit more.
They don't.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
question them, maybe.
I take it more as just like a kind gesture from someone. To me, it isn't like this totally false thing. Like, again, if someone's like complimenting my looks, I take it as like, oh, that's very nice of them. Maybe there's something to what they're saying, but I don't see it.
Yeah.
Like in myself.
Like you don't believe it personally.
Yeah, I don't believe it. I'm like, thank you. Again, gesture. It's like a gift of words.
The thing about you, Lucas, is you're very. I think we were talking about this before the podcast too. Not only are you very like aware of some of your strengths and weaknesses,
Right.
but I think even like on like what Tucker has, like you're very humble too. Like every time, and also like to further that, not just humble, but
Right.
I don't think there's ever a time when we ever like went to say hi to you, say hi to Lucas, that you didn't compliment us in your own way. And if that makes sense.
No, I
Like
get what you're saying.
you always had. I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're
You
saying,
always
yeah,
had
for
your
sure.
own spin on a compliment that just was like.
No,
oh
I mean,
my
I
gosh.
haven't seen Lucas in a while. He just walked up to the driveway and was like, Adrian, you're jacked. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
I mean, look at you. Dude,
Oh,
you
you
look
make us
good.
blush.
But like,
Mr.
I'm just gonna
Blush.
be like Lucas. You're very, because we there were definitely some personalities in high school.
Right.
Out of a lot of them, I would say that you're on the spectrum. You're far more grounded and kind of
Yes.
based
Oh,
than a lot
yeah.
of other people. Like,
Thank you.
there's kind of a tendency, I think, especially in high school and in that situation where we were, where you're. either short-sighted or you're kind of in this headspace that says, okay, well, this is the most important thing right now is whatever happens within this campus, and I'm the most important thing, and you kind of have this mentality going in. You try to suppress that so you don't come off that way, but a lot of people have that kind of internal sense, and I feel like with you, your kind of internal compass is more steered towards self-improvement, and that kind of stems from looking at your weaknesses and being like, okay, I can't falsify this in my head. I can trick other people into thinking some things about me, but at the end of the day, I know the truth about myself, and I think that about you, I really admire, because you're able to look at yourself in a very real way in some cases and just kind of flip it around the best that you can by implementing whatever sort of, methods you want to, and whether that's in learning or working out. I mean, I think that at least you're trying and you're moving in that right direction. I think a lot of people kind of plateaued in high school, and while it might not have been easy, I think you were still on that upward trajectory.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
That was a really solid breakdown. I was listening to it. I was just like, oh man.
Spark notes.
Because like, here's the thing. Like, I'm talking about this. Like, I'm saying these things. It's like as you guys are like telling me this stuff, even right now, I'm like, okay, like this is actually my opportunity to sort of like readjust that habit, that tendency of being like, thanks, and then like in the back of my head being like, nah, they're wrong. But like, because what you guys are saying is like really valid stuff.
It's true, man.
I think it's just like mainly a self-esteem thing, because it's just like, I don't know. I can never really understand like where it comes from. I think a lot of people are in the same boat, where they just naturally have a low self-esteem and they don't exactly know why. I think what it was is like, I mean, this goes back to like middle school. I was never bullied, but I was always really scared of being bullied. Like this was around the time where like, I don't know how common it was in like Mountain House, but this was when like roasting was like a really popular thing on social media. I was like, oh no.
That was popular in Mountain House, dude. That was,
like,
I think especially in middle school was.
Oh yeah,
I
dude.
think middle school was
middle school is really like, I never really give it as much credence, but like it really played a part, because that's like when you're just becoming a teenager, like you're just realizing stuff. I remember like my hygiene wasn't the best in middle school, so like I would get at it, like, and I had like gym class first period like both years, or maybe it was like second period, but it was still very early in the day. So I couldn't just like go in it and be like, oh, day's done, like people would at like sixth period,
right?
So like, yeah, I didn't have like good hygiene habits, so I would just kind of like smell bad, and I was like, oh shit, like I'm gonna become a target for someone's roast. So I'm like,
and was this in middle school?
Yeah, this was in middle school. I remember, God, and also in middle school, there were like times when someone was like, oh, this person likes you, and like I was like, oh, like cool.
Classic.
No, I mean, like, that's a classic scenario where someone comes out to you saying, hey, this person.
And that's also like ripe with anxiety, where it's like, all right, am I being pranked right now? Is someone
how
like,
do I respond to this?
Yeah, it's like, how do I do this?
It's middle school, man.
No, I know.
It's brutal.
Like I was just thinking about it. I was like, that's very kind of them. I'm pretty sure I'm being punked. Or like something like that.
You just go up to the girl, you're like, all right, what the hell is going on?
Also, like, again, spill the beans. You're lying to me. I know you are. I just get real offended. I'm like, she gets called into like the principal's office. Like,
it's like, we heard that you were telling this boy rumors that you liked him, and it's making him socially nervous.
He was crying in the locker room. Dude, it's honestly like, it's kind of a miracle sometimes, because like stuff could always like go, I mean, way worse. Middle school could have gone better. It's just that like, I don't know, that was like where things really sort of began. That's when like the iron's hot, when you're a teenager.
For sure.
Thank God it's stuck in
middle
like,
school.
that time.
Middle school does that.
Middle school does that. Yeah, you're right.
Is this the?
This is.
Oh yeah. So want to say where we say we'll see you at intermission? Oh
yeah. Well, we'll see you at intermission.
Be right back.
Be right back. What else do I say? I love you.
Oh, yes.
Love me back.
Ding ding.
Please.
Hey, Vsauce. Michael here. Do you want to see the most illegal thing I own?
All right. Where was I? Oh yeah, middle school. So we're back. We're back.
Wait, what were we talking about? We were talking about middle school and roast and stuff.
Yeah, we were talking about middle school and
yeah.
roast, and that's probably where like the self-esteem thing started for me, because I was like, oh dude, like I was just stuck in like this target mindset where if someone like interacted with me, I kind of just assumed it was going to be like this negative thing. They were going to like say something like, oh dude, like even if people were nice to me, but it was always like there was never this there was never like a default sort of like setting in my brain, default filter, where it was like, oh, this person's like coming to me and they're going to say like something nice or just something neutral. It was always like, oh man, like it was like, sorry.
COVID.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Get
out. That's the end.
I collapsed. I'm like, but it was like, it just felt like an environment in which I had to sort of like survive somehow. Which really not good for like your mentality.
Wait, which is
just
middle school?
Just a little guess. I'm gonna run a guess that like
For middle school?
Yeah, for middle school, just
So
like any environment,
really.
really.
You had this kind of prey mentality, I guess.
Yeah, something like that. Because like when I went from like 6th grade, you know, like elementary school, there's only like a handful of like kids your grade, to middle school, where like, because I actually like had a 7th, 8th grade middle school, a junior high that I attended. It went from like, you know, maybe like 60 or 70 at most kids in your grade to, all right, now here's like roughly like 250 of them.
Dang.
And it's like, oh, like around that sort of like ballpark. And it only grows like larger every year. And it's like, oh man, like if you get made fun of, or if there's something to like tease or bully about you, like back in elementary school, it could have been contained. It's like, oh, it's only like, you know, 60, 70 people. In middle school, it's like, yeah, you're also probably going to go to high school with these people.
Yeah.
So if you already have a reputation like that's bad in middle school, even if you are able to like change significantly about yourself, there's still going to be people that like remember that about you, and like, you know, they'll have a story to tell about you that maybe you're not really like on board with.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think like despite all my good interactions in middle school, there was still like this, like, I'm going to get made fun of. And not in like, you always see like in those like PSAs about bullying, how like it, like the kid's just straight up aggressive.
Yeah.
But nah, it's like bullying nowadays is just a lot more like passive than we realize.
Yeah.
It's like they get clever about it, and in a sort of like really ironic way and whatnot. And so it's like, yeah, you know, good luck avoiding that. You have to like explain this whole like 12-step plan to like teachers, like,
Right.
and that's how they're messing with me. It's like, I think this might be in your head, and like half the time it is
For bullying?
Yeah, like for bullying. No one ever got like, you know, Home Alone levels of like diabolical
Right.
and like
There
analytic
wasn't
with it.
anyone hanging people by the ankles in the toilet.
Yeah, no, there was nothing like that. It was mainly just like, you know, teasing in a sort of like lowbrow way. It was actually kind of impressive if it also wasn't so like, that's messed up kind of way.
Yeah, I don't think it was ever got that bad.
I will admit there were like situations where I sort of put, like, I kind of brought it on myself, but nothing ever actually happened. Like I would always wear like this Pikachu beanie with like Pikachu ears. I love that thing.
Yeah, dude.
I was like, oh dude, like this thing's so cool. But like, I was like, I don't know. Like after 7th grade, I was like, what was I doing bringing that much attention to myself?
Wait, you got bullied for that?
No, I never got bullied for it. But it's just like, I could feel the attention like on me if I were just like in a classroom and my hat was like a bright yellow thing. Yeah. It's like
a beacon.
So that's
dude.
hurting
yeah,
my
it's
eye.
like it's like, dude, can you take that off
Can you
or
just,
something?
Like, dim the
like I'm
brightness?
trying to learn about buoyancy right now.
Right. Looking like a construction worker.
Yeah,
in
no,
middle
like
class.
I never. I mean, there were times when like I would be able to do that and be comfortable. I think both of you have seen me in like the Ariel crop top I have, the Little Mermaid one. Yeah, I got that in 7th grade, and I wore it in 7th grade on occasion.
Yeah.
I even wore it on occasion in like 8th grade too, because I was like, whatever. Like, I'll
at
just
least
do
it's
it.
memorable though.
Did you carry that mentality when you obviously, because you moved to
Right.
Mount House? So was that kind of, did you see that as a reset button possibility of, okay, I was gonna go to high school with these people, but now I'm going to a place where these people don't know anything about my past or whatever. Like,
yeah.
Did that play?
It was, yeah. I did see it as like, okay, this is my chance to like just be different. I do feel different because like in middle school, for like as much of like that prey mentality as I had, I was also kind of a jerk. Like I was actually like, I was like, nice. Oh man, like
that's nice.
You know, like if I noticed that there was someone who like maybe was like some kind of weaker link than me, then I would be like, okay, like
knock him off.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like bully the kid again, like in an aggressive way.
Yeah.
But I'm still gonna sort of like, it's almost like ostracizing, where it's like, oh, no one wants to hang out with that kid. Yeah. Where's the bright yellow Pikachu thing? No one ever felt that way about me, but it's like, I'd always felt like I was running that possibility. Come high school, I was like, okay, like this is my chance to be different, and I pretty much was, but like it still feels like not a whole lot changed significantly. Like when we got out of high school, I was sort of like, man, like I didn't realize, but like a lot of this doesn't really matter. I realized that like, okay, I'll give myself like some credit. Like I couldn't do anything like really spontaneous and like crazy in freshman year, because it's like I'm still gonna like spend these other 3 years here.
I would rather your garden.
Yeah, it's year. Like I like, if anything, to be like that spontaneous, that like out of your friggin' mind, we'd probably be like senior year when you have all those activities. There's so much more opportunity for like this sort of person to come out of you. But like freshman year, it's like, dude, we all just got out of like middle school. People are like no one knows what's like going on. It's like, okay, is the whole mindset going to be like an ironic one, where everyone's like trying to be funny and like not taking anything seriously?
So
like,
did your expectations, did they meet your expectations heading into high school?
I don't know what to expect. I think what I expected was like some sort of like High School Musical almost. Yeah. Like it seems silly where it's like, oh, there's like at the top there's like the jocks and like the really attractive kids, and the middle is like just the regular kids.
Like there's a caste system or something.
Again, like the caste system, it's like, all right, in the middle maybe there's like skateboarders, or like there's just people that are kind of like background characters.
Those are the quad people.
Yeah, and
like jocks were in the quad. I mean, jocks were in jocks and cheerleaders in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
And then the other ones.
We were in the pillars, dude. We were living the rock.
Yeah, we weren't even in the quad.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah.
In the
we literally just sat down on the ground and were like, this is our spot.
Yeah, but like we kind of just settled here. I remember
like the alleyway.
Freshman year, there was like this one sort of area near the front of the A building where like Rocio and Ramon and all of them would like hang out. And then
cool
like
kids.
Yeah, and the cool kids, like there were all these cool people, like, but they were just all over the place.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like they were like there, and then like behind the pillars, that's where we all were.
Yeah.
And then I think come sophomore year, the two groups just kind of blended. Mm-hmm. And then by junior year, I was like, I do not want to be around here. I need like a change or something. So I was like, I think what I was doing is I was just like walking around. I think that's when the Learning Commons came around. I can't remember if I hung out in the Learning Commons in my junior year. Or
did you ever hang out in Shapsis's room?
I never hung out in Shapsis's room during like lunch or success or something. There was one occasion where I did it. That was after like the Great America thing.
Yeah.
Tommy was in there.
Oh. Yeah.
And we all just sort of like went in there. That was like our sort of like Clay Club group.
Clay Club.
The Clay Club. That's a trilogy all on its own. That was my senior year.
And now here you are.
Now here I am,
entrepreneur.
Yeah, I've made millions of dollars.
Father.
I've hoarded millions of dollars. It's an offshore account.
You've hoarded.
So, we're not even going to tell you about the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, the Federal Reserve. I really hope we don't get wiretapped or put on a watch list for this. But keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, I mean, if you see something on the news,
and you see like what looks like, our sort of facial structures behind some Barack Obama masks.
Yes.
I'm not going to say that was us. I'm going to say that, like, in a hypothetical context, it could very well maybe us.
Maybe that's the...
I know, I'm not going to say it's not us.
Maybe that's the hype that we need.
Those guys are really cool, though. I will say those guys are awesome.
Yeah, they would probably like, be really heroic and, like, worthy of all the social praise that they could garner.
Yeah.
And then some. But not us. It would be cool to be them, but
Right.
like
Absolutely.
not us.
Yeah. Get away, man. But apart from the plan, Christian, I
Right.
feel like you're a bit lost in this. Do you need us to fill you in, like, at all?
Hey, the less he knows, the better.
Well, here's
He knows the Cuba part.
I've been
That's what's
talking a
important.
bunch about high school and stuff like that, but I don't know. I've been like filling the void
yeah.
with all this talking. What about you guys?
That's a great thing.
How do you guys
It's a
feel
talk
about
show.
like? Okay,
It's a talk show.
because you guys knew each other before high school. Like you were friends. What expectations did you guys have?
I think Christian had that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that you also had that high school musical mentality.
Exactly.
Like
100%.
when you said that, I was like, oh, that's what Christian thought.
Yeah.
That's cool. Nope. No.
Yeah, no one's singing.
I know that in Questa or whatever, Christian and I had this like bond where we were friends, but we were also like partners. Where it was gonna be like we're gonna do something like as a
change
team,
the school.
And
We did it.
We'll take it over.
Yeah, and so Christian, we were obviously we all had like PE in the morning and stuff.
Right.
And I remember after you change out of the locker rooms, you walk down this hall, and there's like this little like board where they have flyers for different sports and activities. And Christian stopped me one day. He was like, "Dude, look, track." And then he basically convinced me that this is how we were going to take over the school.
Change the world.
Our names would be just known.
The number one like track stars,
and
number one
so
athletes.
It was like that.
1 year.
This is how we're going to do it, right? The track
Right.
is that's going to lead us to light. And so we went there, did that, and then we realized throughout that whole process, this is not how high school works. This is just not, In fact, this is not how life works. You don't
it's
do it
like
that way.
maybe these delusions of like grandeur.
It changed.
It's delusional.
It changed from wanting to change high school to wanting to change ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our
I think a lot of
that was a
people
good point.
go through that. Like in high school, they're like, all right, like, I'm going to like change all this stuff about just like this way of life that I'm living maybe. But then you just sort of realize like it's all mainly like an internal thing.
Yeah.
Like
it is.
I realize often that like a lot of this change that can like happen in a person's life is largely just like the symptom of like greater change, more of like a top down kind of approach where it's like, all right, maybe like you have like a nicotine addiction in high school because people like smoking and stuff like that.
Yeah, people
and it's
thought I
like-
was a weed dealer.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Nick,
Did you ever have that experience?
Nick and Jacob,
boy.
they convinced me. They were like, oh yeah, we told Jacob's mom that you smoke a bunch of weed because I would always wear like the purple hoodie. That thing was my favorite.
That was
You look
Yeah.
just
that was an awesome hoodie. Do
And
you
then,
still have that?
I still have it.
Nice.
It's hung up, but like it's
in a trophy
retired.
case?
I've
That's
retired.
retired.
Yeah, I've retired the I actually in a case I have my beanie,
Oh,
and then
Okay.
like in my closet I have
like the red
purple-
one with the stripes.
Yeah, the red one with the
Champion.
stripes,
Nice.
and then I have my hoodie in the closet. But they had told like, oh yeah, we told Jacob's mom, who works for the school.
Right.
He's like, yeah, we told her that you smoke a bunch of weed all the time and stuff like that, or that you're a drug dealer. And I was like, why would you
Right.
do that?
Just for
yeah,
fun.
I've always like cared about what like generally what people thought of me, but more specifically also like my friends' parents.
Oh, yeah.
Just because like I was a bit rough
It's very
around the
nice of you,
edges.
Lucas.
Yeah, I was a bit rough around the edges when I was a kid. And so like I think there was one occasion where like I had just gotten the slightest impression that like my friend's parents didn't really think I was a good influence, and I was like, "Oh, what?" Like that really like that almost like broke my heart.
I
I
don't
was
like
like,
them saying that.
yeah, like it hurt, and I was like, "Okay." So then like fast forward to high school, they're like, "Oh yeah, we did that." And I was like, "What?" And I think they had told me, they're like, "No, we're just joking." But if I remember correctly, they also like lied about joking. They're like, "Yeah, we actually did tell her."
Oh
I was
my
like,
God.
"Dude, come on."
Did they ever go back on it and say, actually, no, he's cool, he's clean?
I think she just sort of like figured out for herself because I was like a really well-mannered kid.
Yeah.
But I never actually interacted with her much until like senior year. Not even senior year, until like after high school was done, because that's like when I was hanging out with Jacob and during his birthday or something, and Christmas of senior year, because that's when like me, Jacob, Nick, and Laura had all gone over to Jacob's place. Like we ate dinner, very delicious steak, or maybe it was brisket. I can't remember, but it was very good.
How come we didn't get the invite?
Listen,
hearing
Christian,
about this,
Christian,
Nick.
I assume they were too busy. That's what happened.
Too busy.
I think they were spellbound by a witch, and it was like,
and that witch was Christmas.
Yeah, it was.
It was grandfather time. He said, "You guys can have this. There's about to be, a serious outbreak next year.
Yeah, so just have this.
But if you invite those two, I swear to God,
I will bring COVID sooner if you bring them.
COVID will happen at this dinner.
It would have happened in that instant. It would have been like the Black Plague, Like it would have been that bad.
I thought it was really funny about the Black Plague.
I thank you guys for your sacrifice of missing out on that dinner.
Dude, it was an honor. It was an honor.
I don't even know what I did that year.
For
last
2019?
Yeah.
Senior year?
Wait, no, not last year.
It was...
All Christmases are the same, guys.
What I meant to say is Christmas of 2019.
Right, okay.
I keep doing this thing with the desk.
Yeah, good job,
this that's a thing.
I'm gonna... I'll stick with the chair.
That's why we have the little handles where you can just hold on to them tight,
What about my
strap in?
What? Oh, you just hold on to your knees.
You can hold on to my... Yeah, just hold on to each of our things.
No, your legs or the...
No, like the bar.
Whatever
the bar.
you want, just don't get too handsy. All right.
There we go. See,
Excellent.
we're good now.
All right, I'm ready for blast off.
So on the topic...
I like when no one can see this.
On the topic of Christmas,
yes.
Lucas, sources tell us that you don't make wish lists anymore.
Wow. I don't know who would have ratted me out.
When was the last time you wrote a Christmas letter to Santa?
Who ratted me out?
That would have been...
okay,
I don't think I've ever actually written a letter to Santa.
Huh? You've never?
I don't think I've ever written a letter to Santa. I've written a letter to...
Mrs. Claus.
Yeah, actually, and I got a response.
Are you serious?
No.
Okay.
I've written a letter before to the Tooth Fairy, because I remember in
You're like, give me my teeth back.
Yeah, I was like, can you
Boy.
maybe plant that back into my mouth?
Yeah.
And glue it there.
Right.
I think it was first grade. Someone brought to show and tell. They're like, this is a letter I got from the Tooth Fairy. I wrote a note for them when I put my tooth under my bed, and I was like, that's so cool. That's so amazing. Cool. I was like, I'm gonna do that. So I did that, and I was like, what is your name? And then I got a note back when I woke up, and it's Tooth Seeker, and I was like, whoa, Tooth Seeker. That sounds so
that's
cool.
way cooler than the
I was
Tooth
like,
Fairy.
that's awesome.
Tooth
I was
Seeker?
and I think I had also asked
that sounds like a UFC
are you,
fighter,
a boy or a girl? And they were like a boy, and I was like, I got my Tooth Fairy is a boy, and his name's Tooth
Seeker.
He's so cool.
But now you have to wait till you lose. Now you're to answer another question. You just.
So what I do actually is I pluck the teeth from little kids around Mountain House, and I keep talking to my Tooth Fairy.
That's cool. That's a nice hobby.
It's an investment.
Then I remember I'd asked, I was like, can you show me a picture of you? And it was a girl Tooth Fairy. I was like,
you lied.
I'm being lied to. I'm being set up. This
is actually
a
picture.
This is a sting opera. Yeah, it was just some. It was just some
was
black and
Whitney
white photo.
Houston or something.
It was Michael Jackson towards the end of his.
So a woman.
That's hot.
It was I didn't sleep, and I also peed myself like crazy every time I went to bed. But, I was like, this is a sting operation, and from that point I was like, nothing's real. That was my first existential crisis.
That's epic, man.
Imagine Lucas.
Pretty much. I've been having existential crises since day one. I'm about to have one during this intermission, actually.
We're back from the intermission. You know what?
Yeah, back from the intermission.
I just want to show everybody for the record this. We're talking about Lucas's veins, and on that note, he did weight training in high school.
Well,
and we were just
saying
saying
Lucas
who's
is
the
stronger
strongest,
than you,
and then Adrian than me. But can you just flex your thing right there?
Okay, my bicep.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm probably gonna have to take off my headset.
Can we do that?
I don't know.
Yeah, are we gonna get demonetized?
You know what? Just go ahead. You're already
actually no. We don't get monetized anyway.
Yeah, so just do whatever you want.
I can do. I can do like this cool little thing.
Look at that. Okay, now you flex. Now you flex.
What, this thing?
Go like that. Do that thing. Or you like that.
What Lucas is doing?
No, like
like
this.
the bicep?
Like that. Yeah, nice.
Oh,
Jesse.
sorry.
That's
What, like this?
yeah.
Yeah.
And look at that little bump.
That
little
bump.
bump.
That little bump.
That's more than a little bump.
It's not working.
It's gonna be like that Bugs Bunny point where they just like droops down.
Yeah, it's just like a little...
Man.
I fear
It's
the day
kinda
that Christian,
Oreo.
just rages. He could probably destroy all of us with a single punch. So I'm just gonna have to keep feeding him Tutti Frutti. If I feed him Menchie's, it's game over.
Man, that sucks. But well.
Yeah,
Wait, what?
It kind of does.
Well, anyway.
Christian, here, let me tell you what you gotta do. You just have to be like Lucas. That's all you gotta do.
What do you do, Lucas?
What do I do? Actually, I'm trying to like remember the entire history. Actually, this is probably a good thing to segue into. During the transmission, is that what it's called? Intermission.
Transmission. We're transmitting the intermission.
During our entire radio wave to the aliens,
Yes.
we had talked about like a little bit about weight training, and I think that's probably like a good place to start for a topic. I think I gotten into weight training. And I got to cover every single base that Nick covered. Yeah. I got into weight training junior year because I was like, all right, I need my second year of physical education. But also, I kind of just want to like make sure that, I'm stronger. Because same, like my physicality kind of went like hand in hand with, just like my prey mentality. And like, I just felt like a weak person overall. So like I pretty much, I was like, okay, I'll go into weight training. I hope I can get something from it, but all I'm really looking for is to just like, be stronger, have like stronger capabilities, lift heavier stuff, like furniture when I need to move it or something like that.
Yeah.
So I did that, and like all throughout weight training, like that was just sort of my motivation. I was like, okay, I'm like really only in here because like, as cool as it would be to like look good and stuff like that. All I really want is to just like lift heavier stuff. To have that capability. And then even my teacher asked me, he's like, so like what are you hoping to gain from weight training? I was like, just that, I want to carry more groceries from the car to the house, like something like that. And then come like pandemic and quarantine and stuff like that, I was like, all right, you know what, like I actually tried to like again be like more self-aware about it. I was like, okay, this sucks. This is like, like our introduction to the adult world is this. Our prom's canceled, our graduation mostly canceled. We still have, we figured it out. Like we would do the carpool sort of like times. Graduation. Yeah.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Mr. Campos out there, he was like, son.
He pulled him in the car as he was driving.
I remember I screamed, I love you at Angelo.
Oh, yeah.
But I was in the car with like Miss Lisa and Jacob and I think another one of Jacob's relatives. I was like, oh man, like maybe I should just sort of like keep my composure.
Yeah, right.
Being at like our introduction essentially to like adult life was like, hey, like, all this stuff, fun stuff you want to do? Well, guess what? There's a pandemic and, all this stuff has got canceled. So I was like, you know what? Like that actually, like as upsetting as that is for those events that were planned and whatnot, this actually isn't half a bad introduction to the adult world and like figuring stuff out. So I was like, here's what I'm going to do. I was really trying to develop the growth mindset, which is something admittedly that I started to get on. For any of you who are like unfamiliar, the growth mindset, and maybe you guys have read more about it than I have because like I just got the general gist of it. But it was like your ability, like as a person, whether you're able to solve one puzzle or like do this thing or that thing, it's not set in stone. It can change. Where the mindset comes in is like knowing, like basically just deep down, basically subconsciously, is that like it can change. So you don't really beat yourself up about it whether you were able to do it or not.
There's room for growth.
Yeah, there's room for growth. The growth mindset.
Yeah, and you were telling me before we even started recording that you've been listening to people like David Goggins.
Yeah, there was
was that kind of during the pandemic you leaned more into that, or was it before?
It was so yeah, during like when the pandemic was getting started, I was like, all right, you know what? It is bad, but like I can still make, the most out of this. Right. It was like an opportunity for discipline. And honestly, like in hindsight, I think I did pretty good because like starting from March, I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to exercise. And I was actually getting a little smart about it. I was like, all right, I don't need to like go crazy with like the exercise and like the efforts that I put in. I just need to build the habit. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty much like built. I could still do a bit better. It's like every other day that I'm doing it. But, like I was working on it, and then like from like March all the way to like June, I was like, okay, like I'm starting to make some progress. I can notice like the bicep getting a bit bigger. There's like, a muscle there that I hadn't noticed before. And,
just a muscle.
Are you talking about the tricep?
Yeah, the tricep.
Yeah.
And I was
something
like, okay.
There's a lumbar.
I keep forgetting the name of it. Yeah. And I was like, okay. And then like
bicep, tricep.
Come December, I was in like not half a bad shape. Like I could see, like my abs. I could see like my pecs a lot more clearly. And like I was just looking really lean.
Picture of that up. Right
yeah, I'll send you
what
something.
What if that's just the intermission? It's just a picture with like lost music in the background.
It's like, all right, let's get it on.
Yeah, you just. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, that was pretty much like my sort of like endeavor with just like physical fitness. It was no longer like, oh, I just want to lift heavier stuff, and more of like, this is an entire area of like my life that I can do. Like there's no. With other stuff, it's like, okay, with school, you can just sort of like game the system, especially now when everything's online. It's like, it's so easy to cheat. But it's like, when it comes to, like getting a really good physique and whatnot, there's just such a broad philosophy to it that really breathes new life into me. Because it's like, you can't cheat at that. You can't game the system. You have to put in the work, and you have to put it in consistently. And then the result is just like, this thing that you've built that you utilize, like when you continue to build upon like your muscle groups, and you make sure that you can utilize them. You don't have to get like super strong, man. Can't reach behind your back. Yeah, functional strength. It's like, you're utilizing it every single day. Mm-hmm. It's like a constant sharpening or like improving of a tool. It's just like, it's really, honestly, I recommend it to like pretty much anyone who thinks about it. You don't have to go all like. Again, you don't have to go overboard. It could literally just be like however many push-ups you can do in a day. I remember I think the way I got started was like also push-ups. Yeah. And then
pull-ups
squats.
Are great.
Yeah, pull-ups are fantastic.
Those things are.
Dang. But I was just doing like body weight stuff. I didn't do sit-ups yet. Mm-hmm. I didn't do anything with like abs. I think honestly, I just started with push-ups. I was like, that's what I'll just do. Whenever I see like, like if I'm playing a video game and I see a character that's really muscular, it's like, oh, like it was already in me. I was like, I need to exercise or something. I can feel it. And I would just start doing that. And then like over time, I was like, all right, I think I'm pretty well adjusted. And I had learned, because I had my weight training class with Rashawn, and he was already still like really into like human biology, and especially and already like the fitness side of it.
Oh, you remember his last name?
Yeah, that's impressive. It rolls off the tongue.
It does. Rashawn it really does. Like it's one of those names, like Christian Caito.
Yeah, Christian Caito.
That start with the same letter.
Yeah. I wanted to name my kid Marcus. Just Marcus Martin.
Marcus.
Yeah, or like Martin or Marmar.
What if it was Marcus Martin?
Yeah, Marcus
or Martin.
I wanted to give my kid like a Martin, Marcus,
Lucas
Oliver Martin, and his initials are just Mom. I want to name my kid Bruce Lee Martin, so his initials are just BLM.
Martial artist.
Yeah, I grew up on Bruce Lee. I got totally sidetracked. But yeah, I had that class with him, and after a while with weight training, like. It was no longer just this, like lifting heavier stuff, but it was like, I don't know. It felt like he, Rashawn, and also like my weight training teacher, like saw something in me when it came to like physical development. And it's like, you know what? I wanted to see it too. And I mean, I'm happy with the results. I do think there's still like room for improvement, but like, I'm definitely going to get there. It's always like the hardest when you first get started. Cause it's just like, again, building the habit. Right. You have to, and like, in weight training, when I first got started, I couldn't even I could just barely lift the bar because it was like 45 pounds, and I was like, why am I shaking so much? It's not actually that heavy. I mean, it's heavy, but it's like I can still lift it up. And then I was like, that's so weird. But it's like your body has to get used to like the movements. I remember the main point that I was making. Rashawn had told me like, yeah, your body sort of adjusts at times to like a similar exercise. So like you would have to do it a lot more, or maybe like you're not getting as like much gains from it. So I would sort of switch it up. I would go from like push-ups. I'm like, all right, I'll start like lifting weights, and then like I would still get used to that. So I was like, okay, I'll do tricep dips. I'd sort of like set up the stool and like a chair across from it, and I would like suspend my like feet on the chair.
And then
and then I would just dip up and down, and like. I actually like that exercise. Something about just like going up and down. I felt like I was in a bounce house.
I do them in the backyard sometimes.
Like, my arms felt on fire. And like the development of my triceps. Sorry, excuse me. I just vomit.
That's intermission. That'd be awesome.
I just like completely belch into the mic. It's like, all right, you guys just lost all your viewers. I'm so sorry. But like it really shows. So that's pretty much like all I've got to say about that. Just build the habit, get a feel for it.
You got to keep your body guessing, I guess, when you're doing that kind of exercising, just to kind of hit it with something different every once in a while. It's like, oh, this is new, and then it gets used to it.
It's like, okay, like now I've got like something new to work with. Like you start to like get a same feel, at least a little bit, for like when you first started working out. When I first started working out in weight training, like afterwards, when I really actually started to get the hang of it and get a good workout, and I was like, whoa, like. Yeah. Not bad. Like that feels actually kind of good. It feels like you feel tired, but it's a good kind of tired. It's an accomplished tired. It's like I did something.
So the more you do it, the more.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I think there's a huge difference between a lazy tired and then a tired like after you work.
Right, like you're exhausted after actually having done something. Because you can still get exhausted by not doing anything.
Yeah, because you feel that sometimes after maybe you write like a long paper or something.
Right.
Like that,
yeah. It's like
or the tired you get before doing anything, just knowing you have to do something.
Like you just lay down, like watching Adventure Time. Yes. I miss that show. Isn't it having like a return sort of series?
I think with like BMO and stuff. I saw some art for that. I don't know. For me, when Adventure Time ended, it ended, and so I was like,
"Come on, man, reboot!"
I'm not into the because Teen Titans Go.
It's the best show ever. I love Teen Titans Go.
See,
I love Teen Titans Go. It's a lot more.
Save me.
I used to have a huge crush on the pink-haired one.
Starfire.
I don't know what her name is.
I had a crush on Starfire too when I was originally watching Teen Titans.
Eyebrows though, like it looked like an
eyebrows.
It looked like a.
That's such a weird thing to notice.
Well, she had like circular like. Eyebrows that seemed like alien,
right? Yeah,
and then as I've gotten older, just looking for a girl like Raven, kind of without the scary spell book.
I agree.
Okay,
stuff like that.
So you guys are Ravens. I see that.
If it had to be Raven or Starfire,
they're both just
Starfire. Come on, bro.
It's just.
I see for you, Raven, definitely a Raven.
Oh, thanks.
But and you,
both personalities are like fantastic. Starfires, they're like, oh, like what's this mustard? Yeah. Wow, like really
the one that loves everything.
Yeah, it's like and everything is
Raven's
like new.
More.
Raven's like pretty much the exact opposite. She's cynical about everything. She's like, yeah. That's food. Like, you eat that, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like, man, she's so cool. She's so cool. Oh my god! I love when a girl can just like look at me with disdain, but still like sit next to me when we're watching a movie.
You just watch it. She just
makes my heart flutter.
Gosh.
So Ravens, you guys are Ravens.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I'm half Raven.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so what you're telling me is. Because I'm talking about the one.
I love how we were talking about weightlifting and then it became Starfire.
I'm talking about the one from the new series.
No. But the new series doesn't count. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. No, it does count. Okay, I will the ones before they don't look nice.
The one from the new series. The one thing I can say that's nice about it is the night begins to shine.
I haven't listened to it.
Yeah, they played that song in the new series, but apart from that, there's no comparison, dude.
Exactly, there is no comparison. Starfire from the new series is the best.
But like apart from just one character, I'm just talking about the show. Like, you know how the Adventure Time reboot, Adventure Time's like it's classic, you know.
Right, yeah.
Right,
You could,
but there's a
especially those
continuum.
first like 5 seasons.
Oh yeah.
Classic. But I mean, if you're trying to go the route, because what it is you know, most of those people when it ended, they're like, okay, it ended, we're done, and they kind of cut it off. When they go for the reboot, that's usually a money grab, and so the passion isn't really behind that.
Right.
Usually.
That actually reminds me of a concept that like I mean honestly you see it a lot in like the U.S. and like any really developed country. There will be like an organization or maybe a show, maybe like all sorts of things, and it'll have like a core message, a core like purpose that it's trying to serve and whatnot. But what happens is like there's usually 2 groups within that organization. There's the group that dedicates itself to like the actual message and like the intention behind, you know, like the medium itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the group that dedicates itself to the organization itself. And I think it was like the iron rule of oligarchy or something. It was some sort of like iron rule. And it was like between these 2 groups, the one that like dedicates itself to the organization, making sure that like, you know, you can make the most out of like what's already happening, like what's happening with The Simpsons. It's like the writing is not what it used to be. But it still keeps going and like selling merchandise or something. So I don't know where that's going to go in the future. But yeah, that's like the gist of it. It's like, all right, we can conclude this thing and it'll be like an excellent sort of thing. Right. Or we can like keep it going. We can still like make more and more money off of this because like admittedly it is kind of hard for like a thing to gain popularity, or maybe it's just like a time-saving thing. Yeah. Maybe it actually isn't hard for something to hit the mainstream, but they would rather just like save the time and the effort. They're like, we already have like this successful series. Let's just reboot it.
The one example I always think of is The Hobbit, because that movie that could have been one movie. If they're basing it off of the book The Hobbit, which they were, that honestly could have been one movie. Right. I understand why they spaced out Lord of the Rings, but The Hobbit just could have been one movie. They stretched that thing out as hard as they could.
Well, there's only like 3 movies.
Yeah, but 3 long movies of just like tons of just.
So you didn't like
3 like 2.
No, I did, but I mean, movies. I'm just saying that sometimes what they'll do, just kind of for the money grab, the organization people, they'll just kind of.
That's where Lego comes in.
Yeah, when you take something like the Habit, like the Hobbit. Yeah, when you take the Habit.
Take the Habit.
When you take the Hobbit, and like. You put it into like a movie medium, I still feel like you could tell it in the form of like, you know, a single movie. But like, I don't know, it's so strange. You have to like actually figure out how exactly you're going to do that. And then I think what a lot of people are more like is like, okay, if we're going to turn it into a movie, let's make it a trilogy. How cool would that be? We'll sell a bunch of merchandise, all sorts of stuff. I want you to drop an album so bad. I want you to just like get any of like the instruments you want in your room and just make an album.
I'll do that.
Christian, what's like your dream collab between like it could be like anything, like a crossover event from like Lord of the Rings or like in the Avengers, or it could be like 2 musicians. Or like anything.
Oh, about anything?
Just about anything. Like a toy or something.
I feel like Marvel's already going to do everything. My dream collab would be a collab that would entirely consist of these members being them because of us. My dream collab
really good,
is Chris Pratt and...
The Art of Awesomeness.
Yes!
That would be a good collab.
Chris Pratt. Imagine Chris Pratt.
If he was here in this seat, if I was Chris Pratt, what would you guys want to talk to?
Chris Pratt.
What's up, man?
What was your
meat?
I like that. I like that answer. That's a solid answer.
Chris Pratt.
I like meat.
Chris freaking Pratt.
Yeah.
Guess who we interviewed?
I married into the Schwarzenegger family.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
What?
You know me.
Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Arnold.
I don't know.
He did? How'd you know that?
He played the Dominator, I think his name was. I don't know.
Where?
He's in one of those popular movies.
Yeah, one of the popular ones where a robot goes back in time, kills a toaster.
You wouldn't know the name, right? But it's just...
The Exterminator?
The Terminator?
No, it's not the Terminator.
Terminator,
That's
that sounds
ridiculous.
dumb. I think it's the Dominator. The
Eradicator?
What are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about?
Dude, I don't know.
Dude, I
You're the one
thought...
that's losing your mind. Christian, we're not actually real. I hate to tell you. Yeah, you can do that all you want. Like,
That's it.
if you woke up tomorrow and you were like in a hospital bed, and someone's like, you've been in a coma for a few years now.
And then I woke up and know that was real?
Yeah, like we weren't real. Like none of us.
Wait,
none
so
of us-
how old am I then?
You're
like-
let's say you're just the same age as you were.
Same age, and
you fell into a coma in middle school.
Middle school.
Yeah, you've been in a coma all these years, and you've just imagined.
So
your
none of you
entire
guys
high
are
school.
real? No, but you'd be real because I know him.
He'd be real. I would be.
I'd be like...
Maybe I would exist, but I don't know where I'd be.
Okay, I could go wrong with this. I know there's people out there that's watching this that I met after 8th grade where with my initial response would not be the best.
Wait.
So
You're saying there,
here's what I would do. If I woke up in a coma and none of this was real, I'd just be like...
in a coma.
Woke up from a coma and I just realized... Well, that would suck because I must have a pretty extensive coma if I went through 4 years of high school education and made up all those assignments.
Yeah, you fabricated everything.
Imagine if you lived into old age, right? Died, and then you woke up surrounded by your friends, and then they say, "So how was it?"
I would
It was
freak
alright.
out. I'd be like, dude, you
Was
have
it?
no idea.
I'd wake.
Oh my
well,
god.
Okay, I'd wake up and I'd be just like, oh, phew.
It's like, man,
That was a close
it was
one.
all a dream. And then I'd be really scared for when I die again. I'm like, don't make me explain
Right,
it again.
right,
Don't
right.
do There was a story I heard about a dude who, like, I guess he was like kind of a scrawny guy in high school, and like he made this one jock mad, and like he knocked him out, and he, like his head hit the curb.
Oh,
And he describes that like he lived practically an entire lifetime while hallucinating.
Mhm.
I have no idea like how scientifically accurate it is, but like the implications of that, because he was like, yeah, he's like, I found like the girl of my dreams, and like we had kids. Like again, I was living this entire life, but there was like this. At one point, there was this lamp in my room, and it's like the dimensions of it were not right. There was something about it that was like inherently flawed or paradoxical or just like impossible. And like I was fixating on it like crazy, and like my wife was getting super concerned. She was like saying like, please, like just like come back to like reality or something like that. And like he woke up like with like his teeth knocked out of like his mouth or something, and it's just like, God, like
the guy who hit the curb.
Yeah, who
had
hit the
this
curb
hallucination.
had this whole hallucination. And it's just like, man, like he's like I fell into a very serious like depression, because like how do you even cope with that? Like imagine actually just genuinely imagine waking up and you're
Finding
just
out
like
your wife isn't real, your kids aren't
right,
real.
like you're
right?
all
Yeah.
the way back in time to like, you know, when you got knocked out that one time. It's like, yeah, none of that stuff was real.
Right. I think we have glimpses of that sometimes when you have a dream. And
Yeah.
like I know I've had dreams in my life where I thought things were really good, and then I would wake up to
Yeah.
a reality that's actually not that, and then
Or like,
you know,
yeah,
you're
or
just
like the
kinda
inverse,
Or
when
vice
like
versa.
things are kind
Or
of
vice
like,
versa,
yeah,
yeah.
where things just like suck, and you wake up and you're like, thank God. I've had dreams like that too, where
yeah.
like I made some mob boss really angry, and he's like, he's basically just like made me his puppet. He's like, you're gonna do exactly what I tell you to do, and it's like, great, awesome. He basically just had me under his thumb,
right.
and then I wake up from it. I'm like, oh man, like if dreams are alternate realities, I feel bad for that, Lucas. Oh my
Well,
God.
Thank
I'm
God I
awake
don't
now,
live in
Oh,
so
thank God I can do whatever I
thank
want.
God. Don't have to worry about
Yeah, it's like, all right, I'm gonna go make a mob boss real man.
You walk out of your room, there's just men in suits.
Yeah, it's like the dude's like, thought you were safe. I was like,
that. And then you wake up again.
yeah, I wake up, I'm like,
Oh man.
What if you were in like an
I jump
endless
out the
cycle
window.
of waking up from dreams,
Oh,
and you'll
it's just like an entire.
yeah.
Actually, I think that was like an Adventure Time episode. Do you remember the Hall of Egress, where like he
Yes.
had to keep his eyes closed
Yeah.
until something
Or
changed?
yeah, the Hall of Egress is a trippy episode, and then also what was it called? Puhoi, where he
Puhoi.
he goes. Maybe you'll remember. They make this pillow fort.
Oh,
and he
yes,
goes to the pillow
yeah.
fort. He has like this whole life,
Dude.
in like this pillow world
The
with wife and kids.
Isn't
Yeah.
that well?
Yeah.
There's you were telling me about a Rick and Morty episode where what's the little boy's name?
Morty.
Where he plays this game on like an alien planet called Life, the game, and you literally it's like a simulation
Yeah,
of like his whole life.
he plays Roy. I think you're talking about. He was. In
You were
some
telling me
arcade-
about that.
yeah.
I
He was in some arcade game, and like, he actually like lit because, like, when you're an alien or something, I don't know. I guess the whole appeal of the arcade game was that like you were fully immersed, or maybe you weren't, and you still knew it was like a game or something. It depended on you. But from his perspective, like, he was actually like born. He like had high school. He did really good in like football, but maybe he got injured, or like maybe he settled down to do some like rug store thing. And like it was an entire reality that you could have lived from like this certain point in like a human life or something. And it's just like, dude, if I played that game, like I would also get depressed. It's like, dude, this is already like a life that I really want to do good in. And like the idea that it's like, all right, now you get to like do a little trial run with this guy. It's like, it's not going to make me feel better.
Yeah.
But it's on a speed run, right? You don't have to
Yeah.
actually wait for the time when they die.
The writing for like so many shows, but like Adventure Time, Rick and Morty, like all this other stuff, like it's gotten really philosophical and also like kind of clever. Like it blows
Adventure
my
Time
mind.
went there.
Yeah, no. Do you remember the episode with all the little people?
Yes.
Where they had the small one. It's like, like at some point I had seen like a comparison. It's like, yeah, that's a metaphor for puberty, and exploring yourself.
Oh.
And I was like,
Seriously?
oh, like it sort of makes sense because like he had these little people.
Yeah, you're right.
Like the Magic Man, like gave him.
It was like the
people.
sack of like a little.
Yeah, like,
everyone in his life.
He
was just
he
miniatures.
found like this. He discovered that like he's in possession of like these little people.
Yeah.
And so like he's like, oh, like that's kind of neat. Like you just have them play around, but then like at night when like Jake was asleep and everyone was asleep, he was like, huh. And like he would like have them kiss or something, or like he would just play like matchmaker in like this weird godly way.
Yeah.
And like he would make sure that no one, and like there was a certain point where like it was all that he was doing, and it's just like what does Pendleton Ward mean? Like who's writing this and what do they mean to convey? Like there's just all sorts of stuff that like philosophically was really interesting. I think
that episode was that was weird. Like remember when he had to like shake them really fast so he could talk to them?
Oh yeah.
So like the frequency was off, so he would just shake them so that he could be on the same
Oh
frequency
right,
as them.
right.
So he'd be like, "Wake up!" He's like shaking them all crazy.
I've never watched any of these shows. I have no
It's
idea what you're
okay.
talking about.
Honestly,
If you don't know, go watch Adventure Time and then come back to this episode.
another good show.
That's why I recommend.
If you're gonna watch what we tell you to watch,
Supernatural.
We're gonna add a virus. to your computer.
just pirate. Actually, no, don't do that. I can't say these things on air.
Just have to whisper it really quietly.
Borrow.
Yes, without returning.
Invincible. Have you guys heard about that one? The
Invincible.
animated show, Invincible.
No,
You guys haven't heard about that?
No.
Okay.
Maybe.
So
I
it's
don't
a
dude, enlighten us, man.
all right. So it's on the streaming platform that Amazon has, and it is a real good show. It's about like Are you guys familiar with The Boys?
The Boys.
Not familiar with that
rated
either.
R.
Yeah, the rated R
Oh,
superhero one. So it's kind of like that, except it's less of like the social sort of implications, or maybe it's I don't know how to describe it, but it does have a source material, same as The Boys, a comic called Invincible, and the basic premise is that like there's it's sort of like it's very similar to like Superman. There's this race of people, they're aliens, they're incredibly strong, and their technology is also incredibly advanced. They are not all extinct, however. There's very few of them, but like they have their own empire, and like the way that they got their society. This is huge spoilers, by the way. I should have mentioned. Yeah, a little spoiler alert. But like, so yeah, the way that they got their society the way it was is like they just killed each other. If they noticed that like there was something very fundamentally weak about you, they killed you.
Oh, there's just
So, like,
Spartan culture, man.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they were like, okay, kill all the weakness, and then like only strength is left is there. So like by the time that the story rolls around, like we're following the POV of like Mark Grayson, which is like a half breed between like this alien race. They call themselves the Viltrumites, and a human. His dad's the Viltrumite, and like, you know, he's doing all the superhero stuff. But like deep down, like it's a mission of conquest that he's on. So like within the first episode, we see all this like noble, heroic stuff and very like relatable teen stuff and whatnot. But I think by the end of it, like because they have their own sort of like Justice League thing. The superhero dude, that's like the father of the main character, he kills all of them. He massacres them, and
so it's like the Justice League.
Yeah, pretty much.
Some more.
Yeah, except like if I was there, like I'm stronger than all of them. But it's like, God, it's just such a good show. I think it's got 8 episodes in the first season, and it actually got greenlit for like a second season, a third season. But it's like, man, the way that it ends, because like,
how do you find these?
I happen upon them on my YouTube recommended. I haven't even actually watched the show. I have just binged every single clip of it that I can find.
Oh, really?
Pretty much. That's honest. I never actually watch shows, to be quite honest with you. I come across clips on YouTube, and I only look at it.
But you said
YouTube.
It's a very interesting show.
Yeah, because and like it just sort of like deals with it's got its own philosophy essentially. I looked at the source material. In the source material, the ending is more like, okay, because I guess like the alien race, it ages super slowly. That's actually a big plot point on like the final episode of the first season, because like the alien dude is like, all right, we have to conquer this place, to his son, and his son's like, no, like obviously he's been raised as a human. He's like, we're not doing that. So the son gets beaten to a pulp, and his dad's like, dude, why did you make me do this? Like you. Like, think for a second. You're gonna like, you won't even look 30, and everyone you know will be gone. Pretty much this entire planet will be gone, and it'll only be like a speck in your lifetime. And the son catches him off guard. He's like, what are you gonna have after 500 years? He's like, I'm gonna have you, Dad. And like, you know, the dad's like,
you get all this from just watching the clips?
Yeah. I mean, dude, people put it up on YouTube. Is by far one of the most easily accessible platforms out there.
Yeah.
So like,
I'm just saying, like, that seems pretty extensive just for, unless like you actually watch like the episode.
I mean, like, I watch it. I don't know. I like, all I do is just consume YouTube content.
That's
so,
pretty
like,
impressive just for having
impressive, dude. I waste my life on YouTube.
That's nice.
I'm only
cool.
doing that.
It's
but,
a
like,
nice pastime.
The writing in that show is just so, like, I love it because it just feels like, I don't hate a single character. I don't feel like a single character is written badly. Everyone has like a good motivation. It's or like a place that they're working from, and like a place that they're going to.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so good. I want more
If
shows.
Lucas says it's good,
first,
then
guys.
that means you should
Yeah.
check it out. It's called what?
Now.
Invisible.
Invisible. It's called. I don't know any other word that rhymes with invincible.
Chinsensible.
It's called To Infinity and Beyond.
I like that Beyond.
Beyond, yeah.
Oh, speaking of To Infinity and Beyond, have you seen Toy Story 4?
I've not. I've not seen Toy Story 4 or 1
No.
or 2 or 3. Christian, I can see the tears welling up in your eyes. I'm so sorry.
Just
I mean, I hate to say this on air,
What
but
about
Christian
Toy Story
has
3?
threatened me before
I've seen that.
for not watching Toy
Yeah.
Story.
Well, have you seen the new Incredibles movie?
I've not.
Have you?
I have.
Christian is. I've committed a grave
Don't end it
sin.
like this, Christian. Don't end it like this.
Man,
We have to start all over
there's all
again.
sorts of good, like, just really crazy stuff to like consume out there that you can actually learn something from. And that's honestly like what I've been wanting to do here, because like when you had asked me like, oh, we're doing this podcast thing, like first getting it started, and it's like we'd love to have you on as a guest sometime, because we had mentioned it before like,
Yeah.
on several occasions. I was like, yeah, just like hit me up, let me know like when you guys would be down to have me. And then like I see Nick's episode, and it's just like, man, like seeing him talk about stuff too. It's just like, this is actually like a really cool thing. And like, I don't know what your guys' goal is for like the podcast. I don't know if you want to have like millions of views some point in the future, but like, I just really enjoy being here, talking to you guys, dude. And like,
Lucas, I don't know. You are when we first started and decided, hey, we're gonna have a podcast and we're gonna have guests. You were like on the first on the list.
Really?
Like,
Top 5.
We had a list of people who were like, okay, these are the ones we gotta have on here right in the beginning. You were right up there.
And you're a natural, man. You can definitely you hold the convo, and you like. I see you subtly like creeping at the timer here and there.
Well, I'm just looking at it because I'm like, I don't know. I always fixate on that stuff. I'll flip through my phone, check the time. It's like, it's like 6:10. Just do all sorts of other stuff. I look at my phone again. It's like 6:12. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah. We've heard it now.
I'm not doing it
That's Lucas.
to spite you. I'm just looking at it. Well, I'm trying to like set something up. I had said something about like consuming media, and I was trying to like build up something about how like I look forward to like the future of this podcast, whichever direction it goes in. Like I know that like in this moment, I'm gonna be happy about just like having been here and like having made this with you guys.
You're gonna be in the foundation.
That's really nice.
And you made AOA history. You got more than one intermission, which is very impressive.
This is
Beat
true.
that, and you probably will if you're watching this in the future. I'm sure.
But you have to add your own touch. Do not copy.
Yeah.
Lucas.
You have to. If you say even a single word that I said during this podcast,
you're out of here.
You're copying.
We have the transcript.
It's not original, and I'm still the best.
We will sue you.
Heck yeah.
And
Lucas.
And then I'll maybe buy you a nice big milkshake.
Thanks for coming on, dude. It's always a pleasure, man.
It was my pleasure,
wow,
too.
Those are nice knuckles.
Thanks.
Lucas, thanks for coming on. This is our friend Lucas
walls.
Martin. And our friend Lucas Martin, we will have him on again, hopefully again sometime, Lucas, because I could listen to you talk.
I feel bad. I've
It's
been like talking
nice.
nonstop during the podcast. But at the same time, it's like
that's what a podcast is.
I feel like I've seen God time.
Having to make sure there's no like dead air, no like silence
Yeah.
or something. Always saying something. But again, it's been my pleasure and my honor and my just grand slamming time to be on here. So where's my paycheck?
Wow, that was amazing.
That was good.
Lucas, thank you for coming on to the Art of Awesomeness podcast.
Yes.
That was our interview, guys. Lucas is, I think, I like that one. Lucas is the guy where you might see me catching where I'm looking in his eyes, because I think Lucas is just the guy where if he talks, you listen, and you can get lost in listening.
Yeah, I noticed like whenever he talked, we were just kind of like listening patiently, just wondering what he had to say, because he says some pretty cool things, man.
Amazing. Because everything he said was amazing. Yeah, Lucas Martin. Lucas Martin, thank you for joining us so much on our podcast, and we cannot wait to have you again soon. And like Lucas, if you want to reach out to us, some people already have, and we already contacted.
We do have a list a little bit.
We have a list. We have a structure of like people, I think it's of who contacted us that want to be on it. So we appreciate that. And as always, if you have any questions about the setup or anything you want us to talk about, not just being on the podcast for us to talk to you, reach out to us. Everything will be down below. Website looking good. Yes. Lucas, glad to have you on the Hall of Fame. On the AOA Hall of Fame.
AOA Hall of Fame.
AOA. That's a new thing now, AOA.
Yeah, you made that, huh?
Yes.
Nice.
Remember this? AOA. That's time we coined it. This first episode. Episode 31, season 2. So,
legit.
Thank you guys. If you have any AOA questions, you know where to find us. Yes. Until then, I'm going to pass it over to Adrian.
Where we do have the verse of the day. And that verse of the day is going to be Psalm 46, verses 1 through 2. Yeah. Psalm 46, verses 1 through 2. And that reads, I'm just going to bring it a bit closer here. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea. Which that creates a pretty strong imagery there of the mountains being carried into the midst of the sea. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's essentially saying even if the whole world is like literally just shaking and being crumbled around you, right? Literally or figuratively, God is your help and your strength. He's your refuge, right? He's your rock on which you build your foundation. So you want to make sure that in your life, whenever things are getting a bit troubly, make sure that you're focusing on God as your refuge and as your safety and as your help. Because in those times, a lot of people have the tendency to look towards other things and then they find that they're unfulfilled in the end, right? It's an immediate gratification thing, but it doesn't help you in the long run. God's there for the long run. Mm-hmm. So you want to make sure that you're putting in that time with God now so that in the long run you have strength to endure when hard times come. So
that's true.
There you go.
Wow. That was lit.
That was
another great podcast and another great Bible verse, Adrian.
Thank you.
Well, thank you again, guys, for watching. We really do appreciate it.
Yes.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in the... Do we say that in the beginning?
Yeah, happy Mother's Day,
that,
happy birthday, all those things.
Happy Mother's Day and happy birthday, and thank you guys for celebrating with us. And until next time, always reach out to us if you have anything you want from us or for us.
For the AOA.
For the AOA. It sounds nice.
It does.
Like
How's the ring
AOA. Wow. Good job, Christian. Until then, until next Sunday, 9 a.m., my name is Christian.
I'm Adrian.
And we will see you guys next time on the Art of Awesomeness.